What is up, homies? Welcome back to season 2 of the CzechXicans podcast. New year, new day, new channel. New channel. That's what's up.
Yes, indeed.
I'm very excited to be back talking about, well, we're going to talk about some movies. We're primarily going to be taking questions from you guys. If you're interested in submitting questions for this podcast, you can join our Patreon, patreon.com/heroesreforged. On top of being able to ask questions, we have so many uncut reactions to so many shows and movies that we've been doing over the course of the last 2 years.
You know what people have been really enjoying lately?
Yeah.
RRR.
Yeah.
Which
absolutely.
we have
it on there.
Yo, that's a 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
And
It's a
we
long
have
one.
we have a uncut watch along of us, so people could watch the movie with us.
Yep.
Ideally after they've already seen it once, but you know what? Maybe watch it with us the first time.
Absolutely.
Kind of a fun time.
100% bonkers.
We might put you in the mood for that movie because if you're not ready for what you're about to see, that movie can kind of catch you off guard.
Somebody might be watching
So
and going, "Oh, I'll just wait for you guys to like edit the highlights, the best of that, and put it on YouTube." And I'll say,
It's a 3-hour movie.
"It might not ever happen. It may happen. That's the idea. That's the goal. That's the plan. But never say never ever."
Yeah.
And so,
Do I have a
never.
date slotted in the calendar
absolutely
for it?
not.
Oh, I do.
Oh,
But I'm not going to
does.
tell you when.
Yeah.
ooh,
Yeah.
could be tomorrow.
I mean,
Could be
but
in
it
March,
has been
could
on
be
Patreon
in 25.
It has been on Patreon for like
Oh,
a year now.
it has.
Almost a
It's-
year.
Yeah, it's been
half a
7
year?
months maybe.
Close. It's been on there.
It's been a minute.
exclusive for a while.
Yeah,
It's been exclusive for a while.
It's been on there for a minute. It's been on there for a minute. But I'm sure a lot of people are like, why do you have a brand new channel for your podcast? Well, at the end of the year, we did like a little bit of like a powwow, and we're trying to figure out like, all right, so what are some things that we should focus on? And we kept coming back to the podcast, and we're like, what can we do? What's something that we could do? How could we improve it? Because a lot of times we see comments from people in our videos, reactions in particular, that are like, oh man, it'd be so cool to see you guys in a room together.
Bro, we do this shit once a month.
This podcast started in October of 2021.
21, yeah.
So we've been together for almost over a year now.
Yeah.
So I think the big thing that we really noticed is because we put out so much reaction content, trailers, shows, movies now, and we are, I think basically what was happening is a lot of the podcast stuff was getting buried.
It gets buried.
It does get buried.
We bury it ourselves.
Yeah. And it's hard because, we're always trying to find the right time to put out the podcast, whether it's relevant to something that like is very topical. Like for this episode, we were like, well, let's see if we can try to time it around James Gunn's announcement of the DC slate. But sometimes it's like there's nothing to really like tie it to.
Yeah.
And we just want to do a podcast because we just like talking and hanging out and interacting with you guys. And it makes it sometimes difficult to kind of figure out like, how do we really get that to work and all that sort of stuff. So we figured if it has its own channel, it can build its own identity, build its own brand. Are you guys trying to figure out how to make these VFX work?
No, there you go. There you go.
That's what I wanted.
That's what he wanted. He looked at me like, what? Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Adam. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So it was really an opportunity for us to just let the podcast have its own life on its own channel where we could build out clips, because that's something that I think like we really want to focus on this year. Like we've been trying to do it for the main channel a little bit more with stuff from Last of Us. So I think building clips that we can use on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok potentially, that are fun moments that we can share with audiences will hopefully get people to come in more. And I think just it having its own home is gonna be really nice.
Yeah.
And yes, it's another channel for us to build up, but we just crossed 100,000 on main channel, baby. So we can do it again. We've done it once.
deal.
We've done it twice. We've done it 3 times. We can do it a 4th time. Let's go. Let's go.
We're like I said on Twitter, we're 2-time 100K champs.
That's right.
Whoa.
That's right.
2-time 100K champs.
And we did put in the order for our 100K plaque. So hopefully
snap.
the next
Just
time you see the
today.
podcast, it'll be up here somewhere in the background.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think we might have to
Get outta
feature
here,
that like
Baby
center.
Yoda.
Yeah.
You know
We're
what?
gonna have to get rid of Henry Cavill.
We're gonna have to get rid of Henry Cavill.
Sorry, Henry. It's
I
time.
hate to say
It's
it,
time.
but yeah, it's gonna
Oh, that was mean.
Oh,
poor
pobrecito
Henry.
Henry. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is
poor
what it
guy.
is.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, and we're going to be continuously tweaking stuff on this channel, main channel. We might experiment with some stuff. It'll be a lot of fun.
Some ideas
We got
Oh, is that going to be for this new channel?
Yeah,
Guys, we're going to do a cooking special. What? So make sure you're subscribed. Tell your friends to subscribe.
Yeah.
Hector, show them the cookbook.
They ain't going to want to miss it. It's too far.
Okay.
I don't know where. I don't want to. There's a mouse. There's a mouse here. I got an awesome Chris Community Cookbook.
Yes.
And I'm definitely going to pick the. Well, I don't want to give away what we're doing for the special.
Yeah.
Rest
We
assured.
just said you're not allowed to just make cereal.
Yes.
Suffice it to say, I'm not making cereal or PB&Js.
Or huevos con weenie.
Or huevos con weenie, my specialty. I'm
Sorry.
making real food.
Yeah.
So
you're going to make a real meal for us.
make sure you're subscribed.
That's going to be a good time.
Yeah, it will be,
I'm
it
so
will be a lot of
excited
fun.
for that episode.
And hit the YouTube bell so that you can see when we put videos out on this new channel.
The frequency is going to be a little bit different than the main channel. Like it won't be as often. We're not going to do a podcast 5 days a week.
Yeah.
But for now, I think we're going to kind of stick to doing 1 to 2 a month.
Yeah.
Because we are watching so many shows, it is hard to schedule time to have Hector come all the way to us to be able to record a podcast.
Yeah.
So
man.
It takes like a long time to get across LA sometimes.
Absolutely.
So-
LA is big.
Yeah. It's a big old one.
Big
I
old
love
city.
it.
Big old city.
Big old city.
Yeah,
But
it is.
this boy is thick. This city
It's
is
a thick old boy.
That's a thick ass city. This traffic is thick.
We should also mention that in celebration of 100,000 subscribers, we are going to be doing a YouTube live on the main channel. That'll be on Saturday, February 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. It's really going to be a celebration of hitting 100K, spending time with the fans. It's going to be really, really fun. We are doing something special that we're opening up to all of the fans.
Everybody.
You don't have to, it doesn't matter if you're on Discord or Patreon, whatever. It's for everyone to be able to submit. You can do a video submission, and it can be a question. It can be just a congratulatory. You hit 100K.
You can just say hi.
You can just say hi.
Yeah.
You could just say my favorite
could do
movie of the
whatever you
year. You can
want.
tell us a little about yourself. Whatever you want.
Whatever
we
you
will
wanna
try
do.
to show as many as we can in the time that we have.
Do we have a time limit for those videos? For
I
those
mean,
clips?
just try to keep it
30 to 60 seconds.
Yeah.
30
you know?
to 60 seconds.
We don't want an essay because otherwise you're going to take up everybody else's time. And that's
You
rude.
know,
If you do a 10-minute video, it's going to be really hard to fit in 10 people.
30 to 60 seconds sounds like it's a lot of time. It can go by pretty quick.
Yeah.
It can go by pretty
Yeah.
quick. But
If it's 65 seconds, no one's going to be like, it's out.
Yeah. But I think that's a great thing
Yeah,
to kind of shoot
barometer.
for. But people can send in videos.
Yeah.
And we can answer questions and interact.
them and
It's just
talk to
that sounds
them
like a cool, real cool celebration of the community.
Yeah,
I think,
That's
which is
what
awesome.
I
Totally.
want to do.
How
Yeah.
can
Community.
people do this?
It's a great question, Hector. You can email your video to us at submissions@heroesreforged.com. We will put the email in the description below, plus any other info that you might be looking for. Please try to do it by February 6th at the latest.
By February 6th.
We want to make sure that we have enough time to preload all these assets and test everything, make sure everything's good, have time to pick all the submissions, all that stuff.
The email is submissions@heroesreforged.com.
Yes.
And the live stream is going to be happening, you said, Saturday, February 11th, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. East Coast time.
That's right.
Other time zones around the world
You're going to have to Google it.
may vary.
You're going to have to Google it.
Give it a Google.
Sorry.
But
If you're in Europe, it might be like
Yeah.
7 o'clock at night.
I don't
Don't
know.
know.
But
If
we
you're
will
in
be
India,
live.
sorry, I have no
I
idea.
have no idea. If you're in New Zealand, I didn't even
boy.
think that was on
You're
Earth.
gonna be
the
You're gonna be
next
on
day.
Sunday.
Yeah,
You're
you're
on
gonna be on
Sunday.
Sunday already, so,
You're going to be in the future.
Yeah.
Tell us what happens.
Yeah. Please tell us. We'd like to know.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
So that'll be, I think, really, really cool for people to be able to submit stuff. I think it's going to be really fun for us. We've only done like live streams in various capacities on the main channel.
Yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
we haven't done one since like 2016
Yeah,
or
it's-
something.
No,
It's
the
been a
last one
while.
Adam did on this channel
Yeah, it was
was him
editing.
editing stuff
Yeah,
and just
yeah.
saying hi to people.
Yeah,
was
that was
awesome.
very much like an unplanned thing. I was just like, I want to just see what the YouTube live
Yeah.
interface is like.
Yeah.
They've changed a lot of stuff. So anyway, it'll be a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll have our plaque by then.
Yeah.
It does take a few weeks to get here, so hopefully that's something that we can like show off on the live stream, which I think would be really, really, really cool.
I'm going to cook
as
food
a
off
thank
of it.
you.
That's I'm going to combine all the specials into one.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm going to
You're
grill
gonna use
some.
it like a stainless steel pan.
Yes.
So much hard work for you to cook on
Cook
it.
my huevos con weenie on there.
I'll cook your huevos, all right.
Ooh, baby, that's a big tease. Ooh.
Can only dream.
Oh man. Yeah. So I mean, this episode is primarily going to be about just answering your guys' questions that you submit on Patreon.
A lot of Patreon questions.
Lots of Patreon questions.
I feel
yeah.
bad that we spend so much time talking about other stuff.
Yeah.
And we tell like
Ourselves.
we've missed a lot of Patreon questions. So apologies to Patreon.
We're going to try to make up for it
Knock them out.
right now. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Is there anything pressing you guys have to confess to me or like just any bleeding like
Oh, my goodness.
queries or questions or confessions? Would write forever speak
just-
now or forever hold your peace.
You just writing them down then?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take notes. I've been been sent by people. No, okay, so people know I'm taking notes to make it easier to make clips, but nobody wants to know that.
There you go.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
True. I'm just going to jump into the first question because it's very relevant. So obviously, the day that you're seeing this is not the day that we recorded it, but the Oscar nominations did come out today. And Riley Wisniewski was asking, the 2023 Oscar nominations were just released today. Do you guys have any thoughts, predictions, or critiques on this year's nominees?
I know how Augustine feels about the Oscars.
I think everybody does.
Which I kind of agree with, but I will say that even though I'm not a huge fan of the history of the Oscars has like a really frustrating history when you go back and kind of study it. You know what I mean? Just like Hollywood. Like the Oscars is just reflecting Hollywood.
Just like the world.
Just like the world, honestly. Even though that's part of it, various snubs in the past, knowing how like the Academy would vote around certain categories that are very important to me, things like animated film, right? We've seen those leaks.
You
of
and me, brother.
Dude,
animation and horror. You know what? Horror has only had 18 Academy Award wins in 95 years.
That is
94 years.
That is obscene.
Yeah.
That is
horrifying.
That's like ignorant. That's like so stupid. Like Nope was great. One of the best movies I saw this past. Everybody's been talking about it. So anyway, but people are also saying, but look at how Nope is criticizing the history of Hollywood.
Right.
And,
bingo
bongo. But even after all of that, I still like to see certain creatives and talented people get recognition, right? Even something like, I'm so stoked that Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio nominated for Best Animated Movie.
Man, anytime Tio Guillermo gets nominated, I get excited.
Absolutely.
And I'm just as excited that I'm like, Puss in Boots.
Right.
The Last Wish got nominated for Best Animated Film.
Yeah.
And that movie's also been doing really well because of word of mouth. It came back
well.
up to number 2.
Yeah.
And it's like already available on digital, Vudu, but people are still checking it out in the theater.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You saw it in 3D, right?
I did.
And it's great.
It is great.
Oh, you guys went together. Great. That's right.
Yeah, that was a good date.
We went on a nice, calm Sunday morning. There was only us 4 and then like another small family in the corner, and it was the best movie.
It was awesome.
Experience.
That's awesome.
And to see Ke Huy Quan nominated for Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars, it's like
he is forever going to be known as as Oscar nominated. Wait, what's the title?
Oscar nominated
actor.
Yeah, Oscar nominated. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, he's Oscar
and he
nominated.
might win. And he,
the rest of his life.
Again, to see Michelle Yeoh get recognition, all that stuff is like it's awesome.
Yeah.
Even if people are fairly looking at all of the nominations and going, you guys are snubbing this, you missed this, you missed this.
Yeah.
For sure, that's all part of it. So I guess at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, I hope the people I like do well. That's it.
Honestly,
that's
that's kind of how I feel too. And the biggest, the thing that I always get a little frustrated with whenever the nominations come out for the Academy Awards is how people, whether they're journalists or film pundits or whatever on Twitter specifically, they're constantly getting mad when people from same movies are being nominated against each other, or things are snubbed when they would hope that other things I'm also bummed that Greg Fraser didn't get a nomination for The Batman. I thought the cinematography was amazing. I haven't seen the movie that Roger Deakins shot, but I heard that the movie was not that great, and I heard that the cinematography didn't really complement the movie that much. So a lot of people are Deakins probably got it because he's Roger Deakins, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. It would have been cool to see Top Gun Maverick in there. It would have been cool to see
for cinematography.
Yeah, it would have been cool to see Hoyt van Hoytema get Nope, but that's how it is. Unfortunately, there's only 5 opportunities to be nominated,
which is weird because some categories, Best Picture, has up to 10.
Yeah,
so it's that's cool, but
I think a big part of that is also the volume of projects that get made every year now has obviously dramatically increased in 90 something years.
Right.
So you would think maybe we should up it to 8 at least.
There's I don't need a whole overhaul of the Oscars, but how many more years are people going to be you need a best stunt Academy Award, real talk? And I'm I agree. Those kinds of things that are look at how Hollywood is different today versus how I was just watching a really great retrospective video on the history of the Tron franchise.
Yeah.
And when the original Tron came out in 1982, because it was using computer special effects, the Academy refused to nominate it.
Yeah.
And there was this feeling then in Hollywood of if you're using computers, it's fake. It's not earned.
Yeah.
And I'm look at where we are today.
Yeah.
Isn't that
You're
ridiculous?
nominating Avatar for Best Picture.
Mind blowing.
Come on, bro. It's a completely computer-made movie.
You hear those things and you go, y'all need to just be with the times.
Yeah.
There needs to be that kind of evolution, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And I would say one of the biggest ones that I thought I was really bummed to not see was Everything Everywhere All at Once for visual effects.
Yeah.
It's a 5-man team.
Yeah.
That did over 500 shots.
Yep.
It's 100 shots.
Yep.
a person, basically.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's a huge feat.
Did Way of Water get visual effects?
Yes.
I hope they did. It makes sense. They have
Yeah.
an immensely talented team of people.
Totally.
Like teams of people who work
And
on
not
that
just
film.
the artists, but also the people who did all the R&D to make it possible for them to do those visual effects for The Way of Water.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So all that stuff's great, but then you do hear about Everything Everywhere All at Once, this tiny team of filmmakers at every level, and you go,
God damn.
I'm gonna give them an honorary Oscar.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
I
for
know.
real.
Seriously.
It's all good. It's all good.
I would say like one of the movies that I think, RRR. I'm like, man, I'm so bummed that they did not get a Best Picture nomination, but they did get Best Song.
Yeah. Sure.
For Not Do, and I'm like, that has to win.
That's great.
If that doesn't win,
wasn't it
I'm
because,
gonna be pissed.
Wasn't it because something like it didn't like? You were saying that like the country
that was
of
for
India
so that was for
submit
Best
it?
International category.
Yeah.
So they have two. Obviously, they have those two categories, and you can submit them. They're eligible for both. But when it comes to Best Foreign Film, like it has to be submitted on behalf of the country. So Germany submitted All Quiet on the Western Front for both Best Picture and Best
I
International.
still need to watch that. My mom loved it.
Yeah, I hear it's incredible, and I didn't know it was an international film. I didn't know because it was a Netflix release, so I thought like, oh, when did Netflix put this into production?
Right.
So I think it was an acquisition that they made. But so it was kind of a bummer. I've heard some things that like maybe it was submitted, but it didn't get enough votes to qualify. So I don't really know the full story. I was a little bummed to not see it at least get in one of those categories because I think it's my favorite movie. I think it edges out Everything Everywhere All at Once as my favorite movie.
They both have a very similar energy.
They do.
You watch them and you go, "What the fuck am I
Yeah.
watching?"
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you did a back to back and you spent 5.5 hours watching those movies, like your brain would
It's
probably turn
overload.
inside out.
It's definitely overload.
You're crying, you're laughing,
you're
You have to be
dancing.
prepared for all the craziness on that screen.
Yeah.
I will say, I am an Oscar skeptic.
Sure.
An Oscar hater, some would say.
Sure. Not an Oscar Isaac hater.
Not an Oscar. not a Papa Oscar Isaac
Not an Oscar
hater.
the Grouch hater. Love
I will
him.
say, I love these underdog stories with Brendan
That's what it's all,
Fraser.
That's what it's all
Oh my
about.
God.
And Ke Huy Quan.
Thank
Like
you. Yeah.
those two.
They're Golden Globes.
They're
like the Ke Huy Quan speech.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, those
So
speeches,
good.
but beyond that, like you can see that these two actors have been waiting for these moments for so long.
Yep.
Yeah.
And to genuinely see that, they don't need the Oscars in order for them to be validated in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, did Brendan Fraser get one for The Whale?
Yes.
Best
He got
actor?
a Golden Globe, he got a Golden
But
Globe.
Oscar nomination.
Oh yeah.
He got an Oscar nom too. Wow.
He's the one.
Yeah.
Great.
He's the one expected to win.
Great.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
expected to win. But at the same, like, good for him. I wish they could both win.
Oh my God, yeah.
Whatever
Well,
categories
Ke
they're
Huy
in.
Quan is Best Supporting Actor.
Right, exactly.
So Brendan Fraser Best Actor?
Yeah.
I wish
They could both win?
I hope they both win, but like I said, they don't need this to be validated in any way, shape, or form because I think the Oscars are bullshit. But I think to have these two be the comeback kids of like the last 20 years would be such a good story for them. They both deserve it more than anybody. They've both been done dirty by Hollywood itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just
Yes.
like... And that's also not to throw shade at Michelle Yeoh either because
she
she's also
deserves
been
it
done
too.
dirty. Like all these actors have been done dirty.
Fully.
But to see these types of stories come up and see how even though they don't need it, how validating it can be to like have your peers recognize your work and see what you did and be appreciative of your work after all of that struggle.
Yeah.
I think this year's Oscars are a little bit different just for those people.
Totally. I mean,
A little bit.
look, Jamie Lee Curtis has been in the industry for almost 50 years.
Yeah, I know.
This is her first Oscar nomination.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
First.
That's
It's insane.
crazy.
That's
First.
insane.
She's done so many
That's
movies.
insane.
Wow.
But that also goes to why I'm an Oscar hater because there's people like that who deserve it that the Oscars don't think their movies are worth putting in the show.
Right.
Which is lame. Like,
Because you look at the
so
movies
dumb.
she's been in, and like some of them, I'm like, these could have easily been Oscar nominated. But then you
for
look,
Freaky Friday alone.
I know, I know.
Are you kidding me?
I know.
Like her playing a
Yeah.
teenage girl, and then the next one who took that was Jack Black in Jumanji playing a
Yeah.
teenage girl. I'm like,
Yeah.
those two, you give them
They
Oscar
crushed.
nomination.
They crushed.
It's
Totally.
and it's just like special things that people add to Hollywood. Like,
Yeah.
There should just be these categories celebrating as many people as possible, but
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not part of the
they do have that.
So,
they do have their I think it's the governor's award. It's like the lifetime achievement, but it's like one person a year gets that.
Listen, that's why our award show is the best.
Exactly.
That's right. The Reforged
orgy is the best.
The Reforged.
You don't want to miss that show.
Tune
at the
in
end
next
of every year.
That's all I'm going to say.
And season 2, we're going to do it again, and it's going to be great.
Yeah,
it's going to be so good.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah. So I will watch it. I'm excited to watch it. I'm excited to see. Like, I'm not rooting against anybody.
No, never,
even people who are like in the same movie in the same category. Like, I'm not about that. I'm happy if Jamie Lee Curtis wins. I'm happy if Stephanie Hsu wins. I'm happy if Ki Kwan or Brendan Fraser, whoever wins. So I'm still going to watch, and I'm still going to be excited. The one thing I will say, if Natu does not win, I will be upset. I will be very mad.
It's a
good song. It's a banger. Jam. It's a banger. You should watch it
for sure.
Any other thoughts about the Oscars?
No.
Great. James Parks asks, "Sup guys? Now we're nearly a month into 2023. What would you say are the things you're looking forward to most this year? Could be films, TV, events, etc. Looking forward to seeing you in London for Star Wars Celebration.
Star Wars Celebration is one of them.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Quantumania for real.
Yeah. A month away, or no? Like 2.5 weeks away. 3 weeks away.
I'm looking forward to Indiana Jones 5,
Dial of Destiny.
The Dial of Destiny, and what the hell else? I guess I'm also looking forward to just like any news about the future of DC as a brand.
It's currently January 24th.
Sure.
James Gunn.
I'm sure.
What's happening?
Listen, by the time this comes out, maybe they'll have put something out. But like, yes, I'm excited to see like Shazam 2 and Aquaman 2 and Blue Beetle, which is so cool that's coming out this year and was going to be HBO Max, but now it's going to be theatrical. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. You know, how Zaslav do? Just like decide, just get that tax break.
Like, you know what, bro? That ain't happening no more.
Get that tax break.
Cut that shit. Cut that shit.
Oh, God.
But I'm excited to see like, okay, this is this transitional year.
Yeah.
And then one of my favorite things ever, the DC universe, like, what's the new life going to be breathed into it? I'm looking forward to all of that. So good luck to Peter and James and the whole team and Momoa and everybody.
Saffs and Jimmy Guns.
Momoa maybe playing Lobo. I don't know. Jimmy Saffs.
That was a great video, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I mean, I'm in a very similar boat. Like the DC thing, I think is my number one, only because I've always been a DC fan first.
James
Superman's
Gunn
my
said
dude.
he's writing a Superman film.
I know.
And it's like
that's
feels
exciting.
that feels closer to reality than any of the past few years of news. You know,
we're gonna have a Man of Steel sequel.
Ta-Nehisi Coates is writing a Superman film, and the character may be black, and you're like, that sounds cool. Like, what? How does that? How's that going to work? And then we haven't heard anything. Like all of these little, you know. J.J. Abrams is maybe gonna
do some stuff.
Gonna try Superman. Whatever the news is gonna be. Henry Cavill, Man of Steel 2, whatever it's gonna be. This feels like
this feels real. This feels real.
It. Okay,
I know. So I think that is something that I'm very much looking forward to. There's a lot of movies like Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1 is something I'm looking forward to. But in terms of events, I am really looking forward to going to Star Wars Celebration. I'm also really like. We pre-plan a lot of our year. Like we pre-plan the first like 3-4, almost into June of like stuff that we're gonna do, and I love doing that so much. But
keep going. I'm excited. I just had a thought.
I thought you were like, wait, I can't do this thing.
I'm not available for the next 14 years.
I have to go.
But I'm also really excited about like the unknown. Something that comes along that we were not expecting to either be a part of or to cover or to discuss, and it's like, oh, we should do something on this. This will be really fun and different.
The Last of Us is kind of like that. I mean, we saw it coming, but that is kind of a new elemental element we're bringing into what we do.
And it was something that was like, oh, maybe we should consider doing this. All right, let's think about it. And then we're like, we probably really should do this. And I'm so glad that we did because it's such
especially
a great
as non-gamers.
Right? No idea what's going to happen.
No idea what's going to happen. For me, what I was doing is looking on my phone for any news from Avatar Studios.
Oh no! For real.
So we all love Avatar.
Yes.
Needless to say.
Yeah.
The first project I think is coming out. Well, not Avatar Studios legit. Avatar Netflix is coming out in 2023.
This year, you're right.
This year,
you're with the live action, which I'm very curious about.
Because the creators were on board and then they jumped off the project.
I know.
Was it to start their own studio? Were they unhappy with the project? Nobody knows.
Sure.
But I think if there's any franchise that's ripe for the picking, it's Avatar. They gave us those 2 seasons. They gave us some comic books. They were like, "Smell you later, nerds."
The two shows, 3 seasons and 4 seasons.
Yeah, sorry, the 2 shows and then the comic books.
You're right, man.
Yeah.
But listen, that thing I think is so many kids. Star Wars.
Oh, absolutely.
It's their Marvel. It's and the fact that they're going to go back and like expand out. They now have like young adult books, like novels. We may see like video game. We may see like it's just like it seems like such a no-brainer.
Well, that's what I was looking at. So I was looking at the release schedule. It's not coming out. So the actual Avatar Studios stuff is not coming out till 2025.
Yeah, a few years from now.
Really?
But,
yes.
but listen, but in the meantime, they do have like I think they just put out like a really pristine like tabletop board game, right? Yeah. I think they're going to do a role-playing game, a book with a whole kind of like here's how you can role play in the world. Like they're basically Nickelodeon or Paramount or whoever is like, how can we make more money off of this, but also just like make a bunch of cool shit. That's what's exciting.
The universe, right. So here's what we have from Avatar News. I don't know how legit these guys are, but they are kind of the place where I've been going to get my news from.
Yeah, I think they're pretty legit.
The Netflix, because they've
reported on stuff I said.
They reported stuff on that you said. Correct. That's right. They did because you were talking to
Brian and Mike.
Yeah,
and Dante Bosco. That's right.
Yeah. That's right. And so in 2020,
I thought you said Tabasco, and I was like, who?
Tabasco. So in 2023, Netflix Avatar comes out. In 2025,
the Zuko movie.
No, the next Avatar Netflix show comes out. It's going to take a while.
With a new character.
Yes. Also 2025, the adult Avatar team movie is coming out.
Yeah.
Also in 2025...
takes place after the original series with grown-up Aang and everybody.
Right, exactly. Also in 2025, the new Avatar, the Earthbending Avatar is going to make its release. So you have to watch Korra.
So even further in the future.
So even past Korra. We don't even know how far past Korra, because it could be like several iterations after.
Wow. Korra's so good.
My favorite one, 2026, a Zuko solo movie.
That's what I'm saying.
Really?
Zuko solo movie is going to be rad.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then they have an unnamed spin-off happening in 2026 and in 2027. Why is Netflix finishing their run in 2027?
Well, because I think they're doing each season is each book of live action. So I feel like if by the 3rd season of that show, that's book 3. Like they're going to try to get to the end of where the live action or the animated show ended.
Yeah.
So, you know,
it's a long slate, but I will not stop talking about it until we get the first project out, basically. So that's what I'm looking for. It's not really a 2023 thing because 2023 is packed. There's so much good stuff that we are going to react to. Maybe change the way we do some of the stuff here on the channel.
Yes.
But there's just a ton of good stuff that I'm undoubtedly going to see.
Writing it down. You're like,
I'm just doing homework.
I gasped earlier because I remembered we're going to start watching Star Trek. I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited about that.
Absolutely.
And it's either going to really hit with you guys or it's going to be a dud. So I can't wait.
We'll see.
You guys will be like halfway through season 1 and you'll be like,
can't do it,
boring.
Bro.
We'll see. We'll find out. We'll find out.
Next question from Sean Jacks 30. Hey guys, I had a lot of fun with you guys this year, and you guys taught me so much when it comes to watching shows and movies. I was recently watching Obi-Wan Kenobi again with you guys, and there's a scene where Obi-Wan recognizes the signature of Voss the Jedi. Do you think that the Jedi is how Grogu escaped Order 66? And also, if you had to guess, do you think the Ahsoka show will take place after Boba Fett or before The Mandalorian, or maybe even back and forth?
After the Book of Boba Fett and after The Mandalorian season 3, I think it's going to be Ahsoka. They're going to just keep going. And I think that the question was like, did the Jedi, were the Jedi involved
help
in
Grogu escape?
Getting away? Absolutely.
I don't think there's anybody else who could have gotten him out of there.
But the question is, is Obi-Wan Kenobi wasn't on Coruscant?
No.
When everything was going down.
Yeah, he was on Utapau.
Yoda wasn't.
He was on Kashyyyk.
He was on Kashyyyk with Chewie.
Yaddle was dead.
Yaddle was dead. R.I.P. Queen.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Queen.
R.I.P.
Bryce Dallas Howard. So it's like, is it going to be like a well-known Jedi? Is it going to be like Plo Koon? Because Dave Filoni loves
Plo Koon died in Order 66.
Yeah, he was dead. He
got
died
shot
in the jet.
Where? What? So he wasn't on Coruscant.
No, mid-flight.
So that's the thing. It's like
taken out.
They have established lore for where these characters were.
Yeah.
What if it's Gungi?
So.
What if it's Gungi, bro?
Straight up, if it is, I will cry.
I will cry like a baby.
Right.
I cry.
Yeah.
I'll cry.
If it's little
I'll cry.
Gungi.
I swear to God, I'll cry.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable that the Jedi are going to have some sort of involvement. Is it possible that a character like Ahsoka Yes, but I feel like it very much establishes in, I believe it's Mandalorian Season 2, that those two characters met for the first time when they saw each other.
I think
So I don't think Ahsoka's going to have any sort of involvement, but it seems like from the trailer of Mandalorian Season 3 that they're going to reveal kind of what happens. And honestly, even if it is just like random Jedi in the Jedi Temple, like that's totally cool too. I don't need it to be someone who like, Kiari Mundi, Mace Windu.
I don't need it to be like a legendary Jedi.
Yeah, it doesn't have
or
to
even
be.
like a DH, Jimmy Smith's Bail Organa. Oh, cool, he did this in between the scenes that he like. It doesn't need to be a known thing.
It's
because
okay for it to just be the Jedi.
If it's a new character that they sort of introduce, but they're like, this character's part of the Jedi, then you know that these books and comics can just go and flesh out, and
totally.
you know, and it might also be, listen, it could be a Jedi that's helping Grogu escape, and then passes off him to somebody else, and then that Jedi dies.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Like a group of Jedi protecting Grogu, knocking those blasters out of the way, and then they push him to like some safety escape hatch or whatever, and then they all get mowed down. That's what I'm kind of picturing in my head.
Get ready.
Just from that one shot that we saw in the trailer for The Mandalorian.
Because like the thing was coming through the hallway,
there's something slicing through.
What
might have been Anakin. It might have been Anakin.
Him being like, give me that youngling.
I need the green blood.
I want to kill the baby, please.
I have a feeling that it might be something like that, because I feel like if anybody was to save Grogu, you can't help but fall in love with Grogu. They would want to check up on him as he gets older.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So like having it be somebody who did not make it past Order 66 would be
Let me throw something else at you though. We meet Grogu 5 years after Return of the Jedi. The Mandalorian finds him because, you know, the Empire is going to pay big money for him.
Right.
What was Grogu doing from
after
time?
66?
So it's like, what if it is a Jedi who escapes with Grogu and stays with Grogu somewhere hidden the whole time, and then something happens and then that character dies and then Grogu gets lost, and then we can kind of fill in the blanks with Mandalorian. So that's a possibility too of like, why wasn't Grogu and whoever involved in the larger story? Because it's a 50-year-old baby. And this other person was like, now I'm in hiding. We're in hiding for forever.
How did Grogu get to safety, basically?
And then how did Grogu end up in the hands of what were those? The bounty hunters, basically.
Some bounty hunter. Some bounty hunter.
Yeah, that show's going to be so much fun watching it with you guys.
Oh, man, that's going to be insane.
I know. Sean Jax also says, again, thanks for all the hard work you guys do for us. P.S. When my four-year-old daughter walks into a room now, she says, "What's up, homies?"
Oh, what? Are you serious?
That's what's up.
Who posted that comment?
Sean Jax 30.
Sean, we're going to need a video. We're going to need you to send it to submissions.
Send that to the live stream. We want to feature your daughter, if you're okay with that.
We won't put it on the thing, but the three of us would just love to hear a 4-year-old say that. That's adorable. Right?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Gets a chiflado.
Papa Adam over here having effects on kids. Look at this guy. Come on.
That's right. Troy Cervantes says, "Hey guys, 2022, I stumbled upon your guys' channel looking for reactions on YouTube for Obi-Wan, and I've been tuned in ever since. Appreciate the work you guys do, and I'm looking forward to more reactions this year." This is also a Star Wars question. My question is, with Lucasfilm seemingly focusing on Star Wars content for Disney Plus right now, when do you think they'll make the jump back to theatrical releases, and what projects do you think they'll start with?
Great questions, man.
I think at Star Wars Celebration this year they will announce the first movie that they're going to do. I hope that it's something that's totally disconnected from the two major timelines.
The Skywalker saga.
Away from the Skywalkers, bro.
If we can do the Acolyte that's like 100 years before Phantom Menace, then I'm like, let's go into the future. Let's go even further into the past. Let's really touch something that's like been like untapped. Even if it has some like loose connections to a character that we know, like if it was like a Darth Plagueis type of a thing, I'm interested. But like I don't want to do anything oriented around the Skywalkers right now.
Yeah, it's so tough because those Skywalker characters were so impactful in their time.
Totally.
I know you said like go far in the future. I know there was a comic book called Star Wars Legacy, I want to say, that did that was like, here's Luke Skywalker's like great grandson or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, that's cool, but I think that you run the risk of
you then have to like tie the rest of the lore to that, make sure it like
a little bit
perfectly.
A lot of baggage still that comes with that.
Yeah, and I think that the kind of really awesome thing about the way everything lined up with when they made the prequels to the sequels is that like that sort of 30-year time period that happened where actors like the late great Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford aged, and then they were the mentor. And in my brain, I'm like, if we're gonna do episodes 10, 11, 12, why not wait 30 years for John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Daisy Ridley to be different actors and to kind of continue to usher in. I'm like, that would be the dream for me. But yeah, there's when you ask a question like that, it's kind of like, what do you think is the essence of Star Wars that you should boil it down? Do you know what I'm saying? Because these are the questions that these people have to, the Lucasfilm people have to answer to go, we want to make a movie. What is Star Wars? And they have to keep going back to the very beginning. And they're like, it's the Force. It's ships flying in space. It's an X-Wing. Okay, so that means we have to be in this time period. And then they go, no, maybe not. Doesn't have to be an X-Wing. Maybe it could be this and this. And you want to expand it. But at the end of the day, it's like you got to have space wizards with laser swords. Right? And it's like, and if you do that, but it's a post basically episode 3 era, you got to explain like, what the hell are all the space wizards with the laser swords? Well, they all died, except then Rey brought them back, or then Luke. It's just so much, man.
It's a lot to think about. It's a lot to think about with the pickiest fandom ever, right? It's just like,
yo, cheers to that, bro.
Straight up. That's Adam's
straight up.
Good.
Okay,
cheers.
good.
Here, now
cheers.
you do
It's
it.
empty.
Blink.
There you
Blank.
go. Sharing is caring, my friends.
That's right.
Yeah, no, that's a really tough question to ask. I know Taika Waititi's got an idea with his graphic.
Right. Yeah, like where
that
the
he
hell
did, right? Like there's other
that?
things. There was Ryan
Ryan Johnson was going to do a new trilogy.
You
know what else would be dope? An animated theatrical Star Wars movie.
Totally.
That's not attached to a TV series like Clone Wars was, but like some new. Because remember the Taika logo?
Honestly,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that logo looked funky in 70s.
Yeah, it looked like a 70s comic book.
Yeah.
Honestly, Star Wars Visions was awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would totally be okay with doing something that's like in an alternate Star Wars reality.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that is like totally disconnected and is like
thing is
totally free to do whatever it wants.
I think Disney Plus is the perfect place for that, but I think that the theatrical experience is people think of it as the big show. So I'm like, that's why What If is a Disney Plus animated show, because they're like, well, here's where all the nerds can go and spend their time, and they know the difference between reality 616 and reality 81534. When you put out a new Star Wars movie that's animated, or like it's to have it be because I'm trying to picture like Star Wars Visions basically in a theater. Like I'm like, would people go see it? I don't know.
They would. I think they would.
We would.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. How did Star Wars: The Clone Wars do theatrically?
I don't think it did.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's. I'm positive it's the lowest grossing theatrical Star Wars. But that's kind of an unfair thing. Yeah. But
I think.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm
the reality is that people don't like animation globally like we do. That's an issue. Mm-hmm. But I do agree with you, Adam. I think maybe throwing the idea of like a what if or an alternate kind of reality. I bet you 100% if they did more of the first episode of Star Wars Vision.
Literally just thinking about the same thing,
right?
Yeah.
First episode of Star Wars Vision, live action, but shot black and white, Kurosawa style.
And they said, hey, this is canon. Yes. Like, and then had some big stars in it. Yeah. Like there's a I agree.
Like doing things like that are it's very possible to have a Japanese-like culture on a planet somewhere in that galaxy, right? And so that's not too far-fetched, and I think people would see something like that because
that's a good idea. Write that down. Write that shit down.
I'm writing all this down. This is all happening.
Send this to Kathleen Kennedy.
Dave Filoni. No, yes, Dave. I'm going to send it to Dave, and I'm going to send it to Jon Favreau. All right, I'm going to send it to both of them because I think that's a good idea.
Well, if we're talking about animation, here's the other thing I was thinking: like the Taika logo that looked cool in 70s and funky, and people were saying this looks like the Star Wars Holiday Special short that introduced Boba Fett, and he came in riding this weird pink like dinosaur thing, and it's this weird funky thing. Imagine if they did an animated movie and they said, Lucasfilm was like, this is canon, and we're bringing in either the actors themselves or voice matches, but it's going to star a character like Boba Fett. Now, it may be Tamora Morrison. It should be because he's able to do it, but like it's going to be Boba when he's younger, and it's going to take place in between
2 and 3 or something.
2 and 3, 4 and 5, something like that. You could do the sort of like, what happens to Luke, Leia, Han after Return of the Jedi? Bring in actors to voice those characters, or Mark, if he can sound it. I'm sure Harrison Ford would not do that shit, but like you can really like flesh some of that stuff out if you wanted to in that way and have it be a continuation, but it's kind of like a episode 6.5. And somebody like a Taika Waititi coming in and being like, all right, I'm going to do my Star Wars. It's going to be with our favorite characters, but it's animated, so we're going balls to the wall like this. Like, let's really open it up and do some cool shit. Yeah. But it all still feeds back into the overall Star Wars machine and story, and they'll pick things up in Mandalorian, and anyway, that would be awesome.
The writers have already thought about all this stuff.
Yeah,
I'm sure
they've molded over, and I'm sure the plan is going to be great. Once again, I go back to the fandom. Are they going to accept any new projects? Basically?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really heard anything concrete about Star Wars theatrical. I feel like it's really been since they did that that investor call that was like all video based, where they had all the nice presentations, because that's where they talked about Rogue Squadron, all the shows, the Taika stuff.
You know what else I'll say to that? I think that the real Star Wars fans do embrace the new.
I agree.
It's the fake Star Wars fans that are hateful and they complain about shit online. It's kind of like, well, they're going to complain about everything, so sort of fuck them.
Yeah.
But I remember when High Republic stuff started coming out, because it's books and comics, you got to be a real Star Wars fan to like be into that, to invest,
be willing to invest
the time.
the
By the way,
money,
you're borrowing the book from me, so you got to read that, dude.
That's the deep lore stuff.
That's the deep,
that's the deep cuts.
I've seen the response to that, and real Star Wars fans are like stoked on it.
Yeah.
So when Star Wars, Lucasfilm or whoever's saying, hey, this is the new thing we're doing, real Star Wars fans, I think, are into it.
Yeah, they're like, more Star Wars? Let's go.
Let's do it.
It's the casuals, the movie, the fake fans. Oh, the fake fans. Those people.
The fakies, the angry ones. Anyways, we could spend all episode talking about this one. What's the next question?
Edward Smith asks, hey guys, given The Flash and Hogwarts Legacy are coming out this year, just curious on your thoughts about separating your love of a series, character, or art from the artist involved. Are you able to, or does it depend on the subject involved? Can't wait for the pod and loving your Last of Us reactions. Hector, you made me jump in episode 2 as well. Fuck you. That's for me, not them.
That's so funny. When I spooked you, Last of Us. God damn, good question. It depends on what it is. You know what else too? They just announced today, Rick and Morty. They're going to do more Rick and Mortys without that guy.
Justin.
Yeah, without the co-creator.
And that makes me feel good because I'm like, I want to support everybody else.
Right.
But there's still the question is, well, is Justin Roiland going to continue to make money off of that co-creation that he?
No idea.
I'm like,
Probably.
I don't know.
Probably.
No, probably.
Maybe.
Right,
he's got merch that he's probably making money off.
That's
of
what I'm saying.
It's like, you don't have to employ him, but I don't know if you can break those types of contracts.
I want to continue to support the people who worked on that show. The writer of the Pickle Rick episode, season 3, Jessica Gao. She was, the showrunner for She-Hulk.
Yeah.
So they've all. If you want to support some of those creators, they have done other stuff. I think it depends on the project. But it depends on the project, and it depends on what the context is.
Yeah.
Right. It's for some people. Everybody has different lines for whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier to separate art from artist. Other times it's like they're so linked that you go, I can't watch Tim Allen's The Santa Claus anymore, man. I can't. He is the Santa Claus. I just can't. And other times you're like, oh, I can watch this old movie even though this guy was, turns out in retrospect, a piece of shit or whatever. And, or a great movie that happens to be produced by Harvey Weinstein. Like that sucks.
Because there's a lot of them, and a lot of them are really good.
They're really good.
Yeah.
And that sucks. But that dude's in jail.
Yeah.
So that's good. So I don't know.
I don't want to say it depends.
Yeah.
But for me, it depends.
Right.
Like it's unheard of. Like the Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Good example.
Yeah.
I fucking love that movie.
Sure.
I grew up watching it over and over and over again as a kid, but I don't like Tim Allen.
Yeah.
But I do have situations like I've hated Kanye West from day one. Like, I don't like any of his music from the very beginning, right? So
that's
guy's been that's been easy for me. But at the same time, it's very like there's been comedians that I've liked that have been real douchers, and I like them up until that point, and I'm like, I can't support you anymore.
Right.
And it turns me off from all the previous work they did also. It makes everything they did beforehand not funny.
Yeah.
And so it sucks to say, but I think that, it depends. And I hate that I'm saying it, but it depends for me.
Well, because also the things we're describing too, the various things that like people in the public have done or said, they're all different.
Yeah.
You know, so some people will look at something like upholding white supremacy, very bad.
Yeah.
And other people will look at something like, Robert Downey Jr. made a dumbass, ignorant comment about Mexican director.
Yeah.
That when he made that comment, I'm like, that sounds pretty racist, dude.
Yeah.
That's pretty messed up. So Robert Downey Jr., is it possible he could be an asshole? Yeah, it's very possible. But I think that's him saying that. It sounds shitty because somebody watching right now, like, no, dude, fuck him forever. I'm like, sure, if that, absolutely, right? Yeah. But I think he was, I don't like what he said, but he also said it to a he said it in response to a director really kind of bashing the whole superhero movie thing, which I'm like, that is also kind of exhausting. And, I'm like, it was Inarritu who said it, right? I think it was Alejandro Inarritu, director of Birdman and whatever. He's a fantastic director. Do I think maybe he could also be kind of a dick? Yeah, probably. Absolutely. But he's also good buddies with Guillermo del Toro.
Right.
And we love Guillermo to the end of the world and back.
Both examples of excellence.
Inarritu made some great movies. Alfonso Cuarón, those guys are anyway, I'm getting distracted. The point being, like, Justin Roiland is like charged with domestic abuse.
Right.
Horrendous. Yeah. And then something like comedians, Sarah Silverman, she did blackface one time.
Yeah.
And that's awful.
Right.
And then
currently, Evangeline Lilly.
Right. That one's really frustrating.
January 6er. Conspiracy theorist.
Potentially.
In Quantumania. I can't watch
and we just watched 2 Ant-Man movies.
When we did the Ant-Man movies, I was like,
it's a bummer.
She is taking me out of every scene.
But I was going to say with the Sarah Silverman thing, she's talked about and addressed it and apologized. She, and sometimes people in the public who do or say stupid stuff or dangerous stuff, they'll get off scot-free. They won't be convicted, won't be charged, whatever, or people won't reflect and honestly apologize. So it's like when you go and you read a person's like that's reflection or apology, you either will be like, I buy it, or you don't.
I'm a firm believer in second chances, though.
I brought up Robert Downey Jr. because I'll never forget the time when years ago, this is first Iron Man movie came out. I must have told this story already. I was working at a Blockbuster Video in 2008. And I loved Iron Man. And a few months later, it comes out on DVD, and people are renting it, DVD, Blu-ray. And a person came up to the table, husband and wife, to the counter, and I was checking them out. I'm like, oh, have you seen Iron Man, by the way? Like, I had a DVD copy there. I'm like, you should rent it. It's great. And the guy kind of scoffed and was like, I remember reading Iron Man comic books when I was a kid. And I was like, great, like,
you should like
this.
This
is good. This is good. Like, he couldn't fathom that it could be good.
Yeah.
And then I remember the wife said, like, she also kind of, like, laughed or, like, was kind of mean about it, and she said, once a drug addict, always a drug addict.
Oof.
And I was just like, yo, this guy has tried to redeem himself. But then I mentioned the dumb thing he said that was kind of racist. So I'm like, okay, you messed up, bud. Anyway, I that attitude of like, once a blank, always a blank. I'm like, sometimes that can be true.
Yeah. For sure.
Sometimes you have to have that mentality to protect yourself or to protect vulnerable people.
Yeah.
Other times I'm like, I think people are just being a dick.
Yeah.
But whatever.
It's more difficult to forgive.
I feel like I don't have anything that I'm so super attached to that like I'm like passionate. Like I am not someone who likes Harry Potter. Not that I dislike Harry Potter. It's just I'm not invested in it, so I'm like, I could take it or leave it.
What if Jamie Lee Curtis?
Oh, don't even fucking go there.
What if she said the most anti-Czech stuff you've ever heard of? What if she was like,
thank God that her tenure is over as Laurie Strode.
And those people are blah, 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 and blah, blah in their blah, blah.
Hey, this is what it would be. It would be that meme where Adam is dropping the Woody doll.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis, and he'd be holding something else. He'd be holding RRR. Like,
it would hurt my body and soul. I would die inside. Ethan Hamrick asks, what DCU projects would you like to see first up? Any wild or off-the-wall suggestions as well?
Always
Superman, baby.
Always
Superman.
Superman is first, but the off-the-wall is they should absolutely invest in doing a Plastic Man movie.
Yeah.
Ben Schwartz, you're welcome.
I also want to see Booster Gold.
Yes, but that I think works better if it's maybe a little established DC universe, so that you could come in and be like, oh, I'm in the prime time of the heroic age.
Stuff.
Yes. If
100%.
he's by himself, the
Wanna Beast.
Nice, dude, go for it. Figure out a way to make that culturally okay.
Clockmeister, what's his name? No, there's Songmeister.
Oh no! The Music Meister.
Music Meister.
And have Neil Patrick Harris play him in live action.
Exactly.
Cool,
like he voiced him on Batman Brave and the Bold.
Batmite solo movie.
Oh,
Batmite.
Actually, reference in Peacemaker.
I think there's going to be. I think there will be something.
What else?
Write these down. These are too good. These are too many good ideas.
I'm writing down where they are in the video, so when to get back to them. What other like off the wall, just like crazy?
I would still like to see Ava DuVernay do the New Gods movie.
I know, dude.
Metal Man movie.
Yeah.
Metal Man villain movie.
Ooh.
That would be a good one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Dr. Will Magnus is kind of a villain, isn't he?
Kind of. Yeah. like a villainish movie.
Opposed to that. I'm not opposed to that.
Straight up Dr. Fate movie.
There's so much good DC stuff. It's ridiculous.
Zatanna movie would be great.
Yeah. Justice League Dark eventually I'd like to see.
Who else? I'm trying to like dig deep back in the recesses.
I would honestly, and I don't know if they're still going to do anything with the Green Lantern series, but like I do want to see Green Lantern Corps, but I would like to see from like other Green Lanterns, not necessarily
like a Young Justice movie.
Yeah.
Would be good. Based off the shows though.
Yeah.
The animated shows are great.
I wouldn't be surprised if we also got things like Legion of Superheroes.
Oh, that would be that's in a lot of ways that's DC's version of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Right.
Good.
For sure.
Next one.
Tyler Beckett asks, "Hey homies, I'm excited to see what y'all have in store for us in 2023. You guys have inspired me to pursue my dreams, which has also inspired to achieve something greater with it. What is a personal goal that you want to reach either as an individual or as a group? Is there something beyond numbers and content creation that you want to achieve?"
Yeah, lots of personal stuff that I'm not going to talk about on the show.
Absolutely.
No, just kidding. This is the show where we do personal stuff, right?
Get my finances in order.
That's always important.
For real.
Always 100% important, and I encourage everybody to do it.
Be in better shape than Chris Hemsworth. That's my goal.
That's actually not
like be in such a good shape and be such a good fighter that when I meet Chris
you
Hemsworth in the street,
we're gonna put him on content boxing 3 or whatever.
Yeah,
do it.
What's
I wanna
that?
be a fighter.
What's his name?
My trainer is Alex Puccinelli.
You heard
the ring
you heard
is
that,
the
Alex?
octagon.
That's right. That's right. What's that content creator boxing match that's happening?
I saw that. I'm not doing
You're
that.
going to be in the 5th one of those.
Hector versus Raul Coley. He'll beat the shit out of me.
You're Mexican. You're automatically a good boxer. Oh, my God. Yes, you're automatically a better boxer than everybody.
You've seen every Rocky movie and every Creed movie 3 times.
Tapatillo.
Cosmic Punch.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Next question.
Hook. Wait. What about you?
I mean, I have things every single year, and I never get around to doing them. So
so
we'll
don't
see.
bring them up now. You're just gonna make yourself sad.
Yeah,
Next
exactly.
question.
Well, no, you won't make it. Give us one. Give us one.
I still want to do a short film. I still want to do a horror short film, and especially right now. Like right now, Sundance Film Festival is happening, and I'm seeing that like so many horror shorts are getting seen and opportunities and stuff. And I'm like, I really feel like we could do something really cool.
I'm gonna put this out there right now.
Let's do it.
Dan Trachtenberg, I know you watch our show. You have interacted with Adam. Please take him under your papa wing and show him the ropes. Please.
Yeah.
I beg of you. Thank you.
I've been, never mind.
I see you guys interacting on Twitter.
There
That's why I threw him out there.
Next question.
My personal goal is to lose 30 pounds and be super handsome. That's it. That's it. That's all. That's it.
Yeah.
Bob Sodman asked, what vacations are you guys looking forward to this year? Star Wars Celebration is like kind of a vacation, but I'm supposed to go to Europe with my family in the summer.
Great.
We'll see how long, and we'll see what the hell comes out, how much vacation time I'll actually get.
I'm looking forward to Star Wars Celebrations with you guys.
Yeah,
again,
me
because
too.
Prague was an awesome trip.
Yeah.
And going vacationing with you guys is fun. But also all the personal stuff, vacations that I have. I'm looking forward to Ciclavias.
I'm looking forward to just like being home on the weekend, not doing any work.
Yeah.
That's a good one too.
Staycation.
Very important.
I don't want to say what other vacations I'm going to take because I don't want people who maybe don't like me to know where I am around the world at certain times. So
smart guy.
You're talking about I'm going to be in Europe in the summer. I'm like,
there's a lot of countries in Europe, thankfully.
We may be there with you.
That's true. Alib the Blur Dead is asking, hey guys, been following for a while, but I don't post a lot. I figure New Year, might as well start fresh and become more involved in the awesome community you guys have created. So I was wondering, have you ever thought about doing anything live, like a movie or show, watch along, or discussion? I participated in one with another YouTuber, and I love the feedback and exchange I see in the chat. I think you guys would be awesome at that, especially given patrons can get each of your unique perspectives. Bonus question from last year. Thought any more about adding Marvel Assembled or any other documentaries to your review lineup? Love you guys. Looking forward to an amazing year. CzechXicans Assembled. That's a nice tagline.
That's a good tagline.
We are doing the live on the main channel, February 11th. Live stuff is a little tricky only because when we do these recordings, they are usually at like 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
There is no live audience at that point. Like we would be streaming to 15 people.
Yeah.
So if there's an opportunity to do any sort of live stream stuff, it usually has to be on a weekend and early in the morning, so we can try to like hit as many time zones as possible. But like that's why we don't want to like overpromise doing live streams multiple times a month or at all, because we don't know when we'll get to do them. But we would like to do them a little bit more often.
Yeah.
I also say I'm going to put my foot down and say we will not do Marvel's Assembled, whatever those are, because they're gorgeous special features. But we are already full up.
Yeah,
and
we're full up.
It's either we focus on special features or shows.
Yeah, we've talked so many times about how many other things we want to do, but we already have so much on our plate, and we're trying to get to some of the stuff we've already talked about getting to see. So,
but you should know we have extensive live stream experience because we used to be on Twitch, Concession Stand, Geek and Sundry, and then we did a live stream of watching Daredevil from first episode
Season
to last
1.
on Netflix. So we have plenty of experience. It's not that we don't want to do it. It's just that it's not in our plans right now.
Yeah, and I think also when you do a live stream, you have to consider the technical aspects of it.
Sure.
And I don't want to be distracted doing tech on a live show and also being present on the live show.
Like trying to react to something for the first time.
So that would require us to ask one of our friends who is very skilled with live streaming content to come help us, and that. There's a whole lot of
that takes
a cheddar cheese, but great question, and I love that name, Blurred At. I love that. Yeah, that's so great.
So it's not that it won't happen, but we'll give out more information as we have it. Ronin Unchained.
What's up, bro?
I'm proud of you. Congrats on 100K. What a journey I've seen y'all go through the years. Next goal is for Heroes Reforged to get their own panel at San Diego Comic-Con. That would be amazing.
Yes.
What are you three most excited to do at Celebration in London? And are we going to party till we get thrown out of England? Love Ronin Unchained. I would like to go back there again, so hopefully not.
Yeah, I ain't getting thrown out. Dog.
I might get thrown out. Because I want to go take a dump in the
Queen's
Palace.
I'm going to go take a dump in the Queen's Palace.
And with the Queen.
Oh my God.
She's dead.
Honestly, like I don't really. There was a couple things. I know that there's like a Batman themed, I think, bar, and it looks like it's like in a Bat cave.
Cool.
So there's a couple of like themed things like that I want to do. Of course, I would love to just like go to a couple of museums and stuff. Honestly, I just kind of want to like show up and.
Yeah,
just explore.
You know that
I like having at least one day to just like explore a city.
You know that episode of Friends when Joey and Chandler and everybody were in London? I just want to do what they're doing.
Yeah,
Joey walked around. He got a dumb hat.
Run around.
I just want to do that.
Gonna have some fish and chips.
Of course.
Gonna have a Guinness.
Of course.
Gonna have whatever
the
is
amount
delicious.
Of Guineas I'm gonna drink.
Some Yorkshire pudding. I don't know if that's a real thing, but I've heard of it.
I want a traditional English breakfast.
Yeah. Gonna have some beans, and they have beans, tomato, sausage, blood sausage. And whatever English breakfast.
Oh yeah, like the whole shebang.
Yeah,
and then and then pass out and then do it again the next day.
Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be great.
Fantastic.
Super Toxin asks, been loving the reactions for The Last of Us. I read that recently Avatar: The Way of Water hit the $2 billion mark worldwide. Do you think the success and excitement is able to maintain across the next ones they release over the next several years? Also, congrats on 100K.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If they're good.
Yeah, if they continue to be as immersive and fun and visually really stunning.
Yeah.
And I continue to care about the characters, then I think I will have a good time.
There's so many great discussions about this movie, the first movie, discussing what works, what doesn't work, the themes, the characters. People were like excited that this new movie focused on Jake Sully's kids. I'm one of those people. I'm like, I think the kid characters are a little bit more interesting than Jake Sully himself because he's already sort of had his storyline in the first movie, and I mean, like his character arc or whatever. So we'll see. Yeah, man. If the next ones are cool. I think it's able to sustain. I don't know about,
they're all
$2
rumors,
but
what people have been saying that James Gunn presented this to the board and they were like, "Oh my God, this is the craziest thing we've ever seen." I don't know.
James Cameron or James Gunn?
James Cameron.
Okay.
Yeah. Did I say James Gunn?
You did.
Oh, James Cameron. Sorry.
I was like, he presented Avatar 2 to the board.
He presented
DC?
Avatar 3, 4, and whatever.
Yeah.
No.
Sure. And this is crazy. I'm excited. Yeah, right. I'm excited about that.
I'm in. Like,
sure. I don't give a shit what Twitter says.
Yeah.
I like the Avatar movie, so I'm gonna go see all of them.
Right.
We've each rewatched it recently more than we should have.
And honestly, I think if you like those movies or any movie, it doesn't have to be Avatar, and the general consensus online feels like nobody likes it. Fuck those people.
Yeah, right.
You can like whatever you want to like.
Yeah.
You don't need anybody's
Avatar.
Yeah, you don't need anybody's permission to like something.
Yeah. It's very popular.
I like Batman and Forever, and I love Batman and Robin, and I don't give a fuck if nobody likes it.
But
I like it.
The good news is too that Avatar 2 didn't feel like it was super safe. It felt like he took some swings.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Right? Like so I think 3 and 4 and 5 are going to take swings. As long as they keep taking swings, that's good.
Here for the swings.
I'm here for the swings.
Yeah.
Next
question.
From Molly Collins, who asks, I am very curious if any of you guys are into reading. If so, any recommendations or genres that you like?
Bro, You saw what happened last episode. I can't read.
Oh yeah.
I can't read.
You can't read Egyptian names. That's the main.
Oh my god! I rewatched that today and I was dying.
I want to say that I like reading. I don't. Reading does not engage my mind like it used to back in the day.
Yeah,
it's always been comic books. I first started reading Calvin and Hobbes, and
the greatest, right there.
Yeah, got it right there. And now I'm currently reading all of Invincible. Honestly,
that's a recommendation. Comic books count.
Comic books count.
Yeah,
but I think when people think of like reading, like sinking your teeth into a novel, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I might have adult ADHD, honestly, because I don't think I can sink my teeth into any novels these days.
I think it might be similar to you, Augustine, and I feel like my idea of that shifted the past few years. Where I was like, okay, if I sit down to read a book, I put so much pressure on myself to like really take in every single sentence and word and every kind of thought, and then I think I stopped trying to do that and just went like, look. I'm not reading this passively. I'm actively reading it.
Yeah.
But it's almost like, when you sit and you watch a movie or a TV show, like you're not getting every single gorgeous little detail.
Right.
You're just experiencing the story as it's happening in real time. So I started to kind of read, not speed read, but just sort of go through a little bit quicker, get to the end of a chapter. There will be sections sometimes where I'm like, kind of don't know exactly what's happening. Like I kind of lost myself a little bit, and either I'll decide to backtrack a bit and just be like, okay, hang on, what happened? Or I'll just be like, fuck it. And I just keep going.
Right.
Yeah.
Because at the end of a book, I just read like an Indiana Jones novel.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember maybe 6 things about the whole book, which is fine. That's okay. I read it. I remember how I felt about it. Did my little review on Goodreads, put the book away on the shelf.
Did your review on TikTok?
Did my I did.
Yeah.
That's it.
I saw it.
So I think I've let myself off the hook a little bit with some of that pressure of like, how much am I absorbing this? And I will say I think I read a lot, but I don't feel comfortable making any recommendations because I think the stuff I read is for me.
Deeply personal.
But I'm just like, I would rather read an Indiana Jones crappy novel from the 90s or a Star Trek novel or a Star Wars book or all these media tie-in stuff that I love to do, and I feel embarrassed or ashamed making those recommendations to people when I'm like, I think either if you're into Star Wars, read Star Wars books. It's cool.
Yeah.
If you like Star Trek, you'll probably really like Star Trek books because you're already a nerd because you like Star Trek.
Yeah.
I don't want to just like get excited about, I just read this great Indiana Jones book. Regular people? No, it's not for regular people.
Yeah.
It's really
Marvel
nerdy.
fans, true believers?
No. It's really nerdy. It's really, sometimes I do like to read, sometimes I'll read something that is nonfiction. I'll give you one of my favorite things I read in the past couple of years. It's called All the Marvels, where this writer, I think he's like a Rolling Stones article writer, had young kids and he started reading the Marvel comics in the right order because the kid was like, Dad, can you read me Marvel comics, but like do it in like the order that the story's supposed to.
Whoa.
So he was like, oh, so he went and did research and he goes, okay, if I start with like Fantastic Four issue number 1, what comes next? Fantastic Four issue number 2, and then eventually like Hulk comes in, and then like he was kind of doing it that way.
That is insane.
And he read that to his kid for a few months, and then the kid was like, okay, I think, and they went through like a good chunk of the 60s, and then the kid went, okay, I think we can skip to Civil War now.
Oh wow.
And then the dad was like, great, and then like they read the Civil War comic.
Whoa.
And the kid is not, oh, you know what? It wasn't even a young kid. It was like a teen because the kid.
Nameless teen?
A nameless teen was not a comic book fan, but they're a fan of like systems and complex, complicated science things. So when the teen realized that something like Marvel Comics is actually a super intricate and complicated system, they were like, ooh, actually, that appeals to me.
Yeah.
And then the dad kind of helped them through it. As soon as the dad started to read all these Marvel comics, the writer was like, what if I try to read all of them? And that became the basis for this book.
Holy shit.
And he went through and read either through single issue old floppy things, through Marvel Unlimited, tried to read every single Marvel comic from 1939 up to like 2016 or something with Marvel Secret Wars and Legacy. Some kind of like a few years ago, they sort of had a soft reboot.
Yeah.
Maybe the beginning of Marvel Now. I don't know. Read everything, and then it would write a chapter about like, okay, here's me reading all the Black Panther comics.
Yeah.
Here's my takeaway. This was Black Panther. This is this. This is that. He had a whole chapter on Shang-Chi. And it was awesome because he's writing it and he's going, I think these comic books are really cool and different. they're extremely racist. And then at the end of the chapter, there was an addendum of like, when I wrote this chapter, I never in a million years thought there would be a Shang-Chi movie. And at the time of me adding this little thing, they've announced it. They have the star. It's coming. And I'm so excited and so happy. Like, so it was this really great, like,
that's so cool.
Bigger picture, like literally looked at the whole macro story of Marvel. And they would talk about how the politics of the real world would influence, you know,
stories.
Like the 70s is very like anti-establishment, obviously, because of Vietnam. And really, really cool. Didn't take me that long to read. Love that book. And I would recommend that book, all the Marvels, to regular people.
You got me to read the Ninja Turtles
See,
one.
that is similar to what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
It was a really slim little book.
Yep.
And it was a sort of like a review of all of Ninja Turtles pop culture impact, the original movie, you know, and at the end called out Michael Bay.
Yep.
Wonderful little book.
Perfect little book.
Raise Some Shell, I think it was called.
Adam doesn't know how to read either, so we're...
No. I just look at pictures that move and where people talk.
You got to get started on books about movies. Books about movies. That's what I like.
One of my favorites is Rebel Without a Crew. It's about Robert Rodriguez's journey and how he made El Mariachi, and it's kind of like an assembly of like diary entries in some ways. But he talks about how he like sold his body to science to be able to make money. When the movie went to Sundance, how it did well, how he met Quentin Tarantino, how he got money from, I think it was Universal or Sony, to be able to make some upgrades for the theatrical release. Like it's a really fascinating look at like how far somebody went to try to get their movies made. Period. It's awesome. It's really cool. It was really inspirational. Yeah.
I love that. It stayed with you.
It did. Jorge Vergara asked, recently news from Robert Kirkman saying the Invincible movie is still going on. What actors would you like to see portray each character? Sorry for my English. Latino here. You're good.
I mean,
you're good. You crushed it.
Seth Rogen has to be the voice of Alan. Has to do like the motion capture
for Alan
of
the
like
Alien.
the CG
Has
Alan.
to be. Because he's producing it also with Evan Goldberg.
J.K. Simmons is too old, but he 10 years ago would have been the perfect Omni-Man.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some fan art of Henry Cavill, and I don't know if he's too young right now. Maybe he's a good age. I don't know.
I don't know.
I feel like there's a lot of other actors who could do it.
Yeah, that's a very interesting.
Him and his Mission Impossible mustache.
I wouldn't be mad at Walter Goggins actually playing Cecil Stedman.
Oh, that's true.
That's right.
That's true. Walton Goggins.
Southern gentleman.
Southern gentleman. Yeah.
I think there are pivotal characters. We have Mark. I think I don't know who should play him, but a young Asian actor.
Absolutely.
I think he's coded as Asian. I think we should keep him Asian.
Absolutely.
I think Omni-Man should be John Cena. Maybe.
You know what,
we need a super buff dude.
You know what,
a little goofy.
I don't hate that. But then who can really bring some
emotional energy
and some meanness,
a little bit of meanness.
I just would prefer to not have characters like Mark, Omni-Man, and I don't know, just like a lot of them. I would just try to avoid reusing actors who we've already seen play like main characters in Marvel, DC, Star Wars.
Sure. Yeah.
Who else?
John Cena's the one that I'd be like, get him.
You get the pass. You get the pass. Yeah. I wouldn't hate. He wouldn't do it. The Rock as Conquest. As like the super crazy old,
Conquest,
like grizzled, all rage and punching.
But that's later.
That's later.
Not right now.
It's too many. This is going to take a whole nother episode.
You know what?
We should actually just do a fan casting video.
What about the actor who was in Free Guy and he played Steve in Stranger Things? What's that actor's name?
Who played Steve Harrington?
Steve
Lord.
Oh my goodness. Sorry. I totally blanked on his name.
Right there.
I know. I like to try to remember from memory.
Steve Harrington.
Joe Keery.
Rexplode.
Yes, perfect Rexplode.
Yeah, that
beautiful
would be pretty
Rexplode.
great. That would be pretty great.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be pretty great.
Yeah, that would be dope.
Yep.
And maybe still somehow Zachary Quinto is the voice of Robot.
Like, I feel like people who did the voice, who can do like the motion capture, just keep them.
Actually, no, because Robot's young.
No, Robot is when Robot comes back young is a younger clone of Steve Harrington of Rexplode. So you'd have to like cast whoever would play Rexplode, knowing that you'd eventually get a younger actor that could.
How close are they going to follow the story?
I know.
I don't know. That's the question.
Yeah,
that is the question.
You're like writing it down. You're like, that's the question. That's the question. How close? Question mark.
All right, last question of the night from Molly Collins. Anyways, I'm really curious as to whether there are any movies or shows that you are positive you will never watch. not just for the channel, but in general. Are there any of you guys?
That's a good question.
Are there any that you guys can never see yourself enjoying? Just a side note, I've enjoyed the X-Men animated series reactions. Could not get through it without you guys. Greatly appreciate you.
I think The Walking Dead is too far gone with how many seasons it is for us to really consider like, let's do season 1 or let's catch up with what I'm like. I think it's too big of its own thing right now. So no, but dude, The Last of Us is right now The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead.
And
no offense to Big Bobby Kirks, Big Hollywood Bobby Kirks, friend of the show. It's
listen,
it's fine.
Listen,
like,
man,
if you like The Walking Dead, it's fine to like
Martin
The Walking
Green,
Dead.
Danae Guerrera, some incredible talent came out of Stephen Yeun himself. Walking Dead was a great show, is a great show in many, many ways. I'm excited that it's still going. There's an expanded universe. They're going to do a movie. All that stuff's cool. I'm just saying it's too much of a rolling ball for us to like grab onto.
I have no desire to watch Walking Dead.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. It's fine.
This is kind of a weird question because I don't know whether if it's like a hate watch where there's just like I don't like it out of principle.
No, I think something like
or like
well,
it's
it could be
a show that I will never make time for, but I want to watch it.
Remember we were talking about last night at dinner, and somebody brought up His Dark Materials, and you were like, "I'll never watch that show."
Yeah. Like that's just something that's completely not on, just because it's not on my radar though.
Sure.
Even though it's like it's something that there's a huge fandom behind. It's just not on my radar. I have a lot of other things to watch.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a guy who watches Bitchin' Rides and 90 Day Fiance. Like, I can watch some garbage. Like, I can watch some. I could suspend my disbelief for some garbage.
Oh,
and it's not about necessarily the quality of the show. It's just whether it's on my radar or not.
There's just some shows that even whether it's a trailer or whatever, it just doesn't hook me. And I'm just, I don't know.
And it's also about bandwidth.
Yeah.
Because my answer to this question is, what I love about living in LA is you drive around and you see billboards for movies and TV all the time.
Yeah.
And new and updated. And, you know, growing up in San Diego, I'd drive and I'd be like, that billboard has been the same goddamn billboard for 16 years. Like, they don't change it. But
that attorney is probably dead by now.
Like, I'm like driving, I'm like, Jack Murphy Stadium. It's been Qualcomm for like 20 years. How is that?
Now it's Snapdragon. What's happening?
So my answer is I'll be driving around LA and I'll see a billboard for a new TV show.
Yeah.
Or a TV show that's like season 3 coming to AMC Plus, and I'll be driving and I'm like, I'll never watch that show. Not because it looks bad or I'm opposed to it morally or something, but I'm like, I do not have the bandwidth. Nor will I ever try to carve out some time in my life to get to that show. I already have too many. I have all the shows. And and honestly, seeing that and having that feeling is relieving to me. It makes me feel good because I'm like, whew, check that one off the list. I'm never going to watch that.
Okay.
And it feels nice.
Here's one challenge I want to pose to both of you. Do you have one show that you will not watch out of sheer anger or hate? And I know we don't normally do this on the channel. We don't hate on stuff on purpose.
Do I?
But is there a show?
The closest one I can think of
is 90 Day Fiance.
No. Honestly, that might be my answer. Or like, you know, the new show, The Kardashians, whatever that shit is on Hulu. I'm like, I think I hate that.
Anything inside the geek realm.
I'll give you one.
That I hate?
I'll give you one.
Or that you're against and you will never spend your time watching just because it turns you off so much.
The closest I can think of is years ago I tried with the show Riverdale. Watched the first episode and it really made me mad. And I know I never get mad at that kind of thing. I understand adaptations are different. I understand what kind of like very sort of cheesy and campy teen show it was trying to do and be. But for some reason, I don't know why, I felt really protective and precious of like Archie and the friends and Betty and Veronica and these characters because I had just read the new like rebooted Mark Waid written comic, the Archie comic that I thought was really fantastic. And it was modern and fresh and cool, but it was still like earnest and like good and pure, which is really good. It's so shitty to say that about like this old classic white kid who's like, I can't choose between these two gorgeous white women. Like that's the comic kind of, but I thought it was so well written. Then I watched the show Riverdale and I was like, this is salacious. This is trying to be, you know, this is trying to be like you think you know what Archie is? Well, we're going to have Archie fuck a teacher. And I was just like so annoyed. I was like annoyed by it.
I'm irritated just by that description.
It was a little irritating, but I know that it's campy. I know it's so-and-so. So like maybe someday I'll still go and try to do like season 1 and see if I end up liking any part of it. I liked some of the Sabrina like witchy show on Netflix because that was based on some other like Afterlife with Archie and kind of the chilling adventures of Sabrina. I thought that was cool. So I kind of enjoyed that. So I don't know, but I got like mad at that show. I'm like, you've disrespected the legacy of Archie comics. and Jughead.
I'm really trying to think if I have one that like I don't.
If you can't think of one,
There are. I am not the biggest fan of CW and Fox and always doing these like Batman adjacent shows.
That's a good one.
I find that so irritating. Alfred Pennyworth. Now they're doing Gotham Knights. Like it looks so bad, and it's always Batman's disappeared.
Yeah,
Batman's been murdered.
Yeah,
Batman a dish. Batman a dad.
They've been doing that for 20 years. Birds of Prey was that.
I'm like, stop it, Jesus! Just make a fucking Batman show or don't.
I know.
It's so irritating.
Isn't that funny?
I hate it so much. That's why I love Superman and Lois, because Superman and Lois is like, we're going to make a fucking Superman show.
It's just Superman.
It's cool.
It's and his family.
Isn't it funny how that's at, I don't know if you guys saw this too, but like The Last of Us has come out and people online are being like, this is such a great adaptation. It is not embarrassed by the source material. It's very respectful. It does change things, but to make a better show ultimately. And it's something that like didn't try to take The Last of Us video game content and like subvert it.
Right.
And then I saw people online saying like, I think it was like some screenwriters that we follow. They were like, I can't tell you how many times I have pitched something and just been like, I just want to make the thing, whatever the source material is, a comic book IP, whatever it is, a well-known IP, and the studios and the CEOs will be like, and then somebody else comes in and does a pitch and they go, what if it's this, but the twist is this. And
add an S with a dollar sign.
And CEOs will gravitate towards that. And they were like, that's why it's these people were saying it's so frustrating and difficult to pitch like for IP takes, because the ones that end up getting greenlit are like the not subversive takes.
Right.
You know, and The Last of Us is proving that it's not always the best call.
Well, and I think The Last of Us will help to change that in Hollywood, where the writers who keep pitching these like, oh God, please let this be the time I can pitch an Assassin's Creed movie and actually make Assassin's Creed
and make it make sense.
And I feel like that's true with the sort of Batman projects that you're listing, because it's like they have Batman as an IP available.
What if?
Right.
Batman's dead.
What if he's
dead?
If
Batman's 10?
Yeah.
What if? And
right.
I'm like, oh my God.
I know.
Yeah. I get it.
What's yours?
I get it. Mine has a big fandom. It's Game of Thrones. I will never, ever watch Game of Thrones.
We're going to watch Game of Thrones.
We're going to watch House of Dragon.
Bro, it's the same shit.
I'm talking about the initial first season 1 through 8, and only because I hyped it up. I was like, oh, it's almost done. I didn't hear about it until it was almost finished, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to take my time, and I'm going to just wait till this is over and just binge it all at once.
People did not like the ending.
Because I was like, there's no way this show, I didn't even fit in my head that this show could have such a turnaround like it did. Yeah. And granted, I haven't seen it. Yeah. I've only experienced people's rage with it outside, like third-hand rage.
Oh, man, that's
where
so
I'm just like, I have, it took all the interest away from me from watching this show. And also, honestly, it took all my interest away from watching House of Dragon. So if it brings me back, cool. When we watch House of Dragon, fine. Like I'll do that.
Or even to like want to engage in that kind of.
I don't want to engage with the fandom. I don't want to engage with like anything.
And you're not saying that they're wrong-headed for thinking it was bad. They can. That's fine. But you're just like, oh, then I don't want to step into this. It's like holding the pizza. It's like holding the pizza coming in that community meme, and you're like, what? I was about to start this show.
I was about to party with y'all, and y'all are having a bad party. I'm not in this.
I have a really weird experience with Game of Thrones, because I've watched, I think, the first 6 episodes of season 1, and I dug it, and then I never got around to finishing it, and then I just watched season 8, and I was like, I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was great. I was I was very middle of the road.
I can see the comments right now. I can see people comment for you. No, I'm kidding. No,
they probably are.
Fine. It's fine.
I can't. I mean, it's going to be very difficult for me to drum up excitement when we get into House of Dragon.
Yeah,
because I'm just like,
you know what I feel. Well, and I know people feel
that might be good though. Low expectations just means like the show just has to win you over. So be a good show.
Right,
exactly.
Be a good show.
I know that people don't. They have issues with this property, which is totally valid and totally fine. I do not get excited whenever they're like, we're making another Fantastic Beasts.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm like, we got those Daniel Radcliffe movies with.
But the author is kind of.
That's true. Yeah. There's that side to it.
Yeah.
Which is very significant, but then it's also like, I think what you're talking about, Adam, too, is like even the direction they decided to go in a couple years ago with Fantastic Beasts. I'm like, that's not what I would have done.
No,
but okay,
yeah.
That's another one. It was such a huge thing. Harry Potter movies, and the Fantastic Beasts movies started coming out, and they couldn't sustain it the way like Marvel has or Star Wars.
It didn't have that staying power.
Yeah, man,
it doesn't have the magic.
You know why?
No,
because Harry Potter is not a world building thing. It's not. Marvel is and Star Wars is.
Yeah.
Harry Potter is a one-off story. It's the story of Harry Potter.
It's just about
Story of Harry
characters.
Everything that was set up in that world only serves to help the story of Harry Potter. So when they go, well, back in the past, the adults are doing magic. It's already like this doesn't make any sense. This is dumb. Don't.
It also just not interesting.
Yeah.
Like those characters in those original movies, at least the ones that I've seen, I'm like, I'm engaged in those actors' performances.
Yeah.
Robbie Coltrane, Daniel Radcliffe, like
right.
I love those actors. And like I love Jude Law, but I'm like, I don't really.
And what's
so
his name?
the Harry Potter extended universe is something that you're not into.
Because I don't think it's
I don't think
there.
it's extended
I don't
universe.
think it's got the.
Right. I think you're right.
Doesn't have the juice.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the juice.
The giblets.
And I'll say Star Wars is not just the Luke Skywalker story.
Right.
That's great. But everything in Star Wars is almost like everything in the background of A New Hope almost serves to better world build versus like trying to help Luke Skywalker's story. I'm
Plus, I also just feel like generally speaking, those filmmakers have known how to make all that stuff really matter and really cool.
Yeah, but it always felt like George Lucas was even more interested in the background.
Which
is cool. It's like
these weird dudes in the canteen.
Check out that guy.
Let's make him look like a werewolf.
You should write a book about him.
Oh, that guy over there on the little dragon. Yeah, let's give him a little
bounty hunter. Make a movie.
Oh, purple, green. I don't care what color it is. Make it fuchsia. As far as I'm concerned, it'll just be cool. Make a toy out of it.
Meanwhile, Mark Hamill's like, George, I have a question about my character. And he's like, I don't care. I don't care.
You're a samurai in space.
What did you say this was called? Called a lightsaber? I don't know, laser sword. It doesn't fucking matter. We're gonna sell a lot of those toys.
Midi-chlorians. Who cares?
But George, do you know what this swamp creature is called?
Yeah,
I do.
Swamp creature.
No, Dianoga. I have a whole lore. I wrote the whole thing.
I can't tell if we're doing George Lucas or George R.R. Martin at this point.
I don't know if I could do George R.R. Martin.
I don't know if I could do that.
Anyway, great questions.
Great questions. If you want to submit questions, check out our Patreon. You can do so in the Hero tier. Otherwise, leave your comments down below. Let us know what you thought. Are you excited? Well, I do want to ask, what movie are you most excited for this year? Okay. What show are you most excited for? If it's The Last of Us, then I guess that's currently happening. And what show are you most excited for us to watch and react to for the first time?
Yes. And if you made it this far in the video, keep in mind we got a lot of cool stuff coming up in the future. I'm very excited about this live stream.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about these potential future projects that we got going on.
I'm cooking. We're cooking.
You're cooking.
Now we're eating. Now we're cooking with grease.
Lots of grease.
Crisco, baby.
Crisco, baby. It's going to be a lot of fun. But of course, if you have not subscribed to this channel yet, subscribe to it so you can get updated whenever we post a brand new episode. If you're on the audio version, make sure you jump over to the YouTube channels. YouTube.com/ now it's an @CzechXicans.
Oh, yeah.
Find it, subscribe to it, hit the bell for notifications. If you haven't subscribed to the main channel yet, the hell are you doing? Go check it out. That's where all the reactions are going to live. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully, with a DC slate to discuss.
Ooh, interesting.
No, sorry. Did not mean.
Damn, bro.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope that we have a slate. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for listening. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.
I love you. Bye.